Hello, everyone, and welcome to the webinar. We're excited you've joined us for today's session to workshop 10 blog ideas in 30 minutes. A few housekeeping details before we get started. This session is being recorded, and you should receive a link to the recording tomorrow by email. Please feel free to share this webinar content with colleagues that could not attend today. A question and answer session will immediately follow the presentation. If you have a question, please type it into the questions box in your GoToWebinar panel on the right side of your screen. My name is Megan Nicholson, and I'm the Marketing Director here at Suttle-Straus. This is my personal approach to blogging that I've used across many different companies in full-time work and as a freelance ghostwriter for other company CEOs. So before we get started, make sure you have paper and pencil so you can write down all your blog ideas. I really want you to leave this session with a list of topics that you can plug into your content calendar for the rest of the year. So you're going to have to do a little work. All right, everybody got their paper and pencil ready? A few caveats before we get started. Be sure to consider your audience. Are you writing for others in a specific trade industry or stay-at-home moms? Make sure your blog is at an appropriate reading level, accessible to all. Even if you're writing on complicated topics in a trade industry, making it simple will help your blog perform better. So don't use jargon, use everyday language. Also, consider your goals. What are you trying to achieve? And then optimize your post around that goal. So if you wanted to write a blog for a trade magazine, hoping to get it published on another person's website, the goal is different than writing for your own company blog. A publication wants to maximize views to appease their advertisers. So maybe you want to lead with a controversial headline or take a certain position. A company blog, on the other hand, wants to push people towards a sale. So you want to optimize the blog for that next step at the end of the article, like click here to buy or contact us. All right, step 1. Pencils in hand. The first thing we're going to do is categorize your products and or services. You've probably already done this on your website under products or services. You have all your categories listed. So we're just going to list them here on the piece of paper. I've put the example for us here at Suttle-Straus. Our services include print, direct mail, signage and displays, promotional products, and customized brand portals. And you can put subcategories under those categories if you want to, like I have business cards, folders, brochures, flyers, booklets, postcards, catalogs, magazines, letters, pens, apparel, drinkware. If you're an attorney, maybe you can list the type of cases you take, whether it's criminal law, civil law, corporate law. If you're an accountant, what kind of accounting do you do? Do you help with personal taxes, company taxes, bookkeeping, payroll, expenses, accounts payable, receivable? So jot down your products and services. Hopefully that gave enough time to get that done. All right, step 2. Choose one of those services, your most popular one or whatever one you want to focus on for your next blog. And list some keywords under those services that people might search for in Google. So for an example here at Suttle-Straus, under displays and signage, what kind of displays or signs would people be out there looking for? So I wrote down window clings, wall wraps, point of purchase displays, banners, trade show booths, recognition displays, retail signage, lobby signs, custom wallpaper, locker room design. Now here, be sure you don't talk about a service the way you would talk about it in-house. Talk about it the way the outsider customer would. We used to call our displays and signage service wide format, but nobody on the internet knows what wide format is. They're looking for signs and displays. So if you were a casino, you probably have 3 main categories of gaming, dining, entertainment, and maybe under gaming you could put poker, slots, blackjack, roulette, all the different games that you have at your casino, for instance. So hopefully you've got a good list there of things that people would be looking for. Now you're going to take this list and choose one keyword that you want to focus on and create a listicle, which is a list article. So you can see here in this example, I chose window graphics and created a listicle, which always has a number in the title, 6 reasons to put up custom window graphics. You're going to want your keyword in the title, and then you're going to want to detail as many examples as you can think of. Pictures are great if you can include pictures as examples or even video in your blog. If you can mention customers by name, that's great, if they allow you to do that. And you can write one listicle topic many different ways. So you'll see some examples here. In this blog, I did 6 reasons. So it's the motivation behind the product. Why would you want to do this? You could also do it positive or negative. So is it best practices with window graphics versus the top mistakes made with window graphics? Or window graphics on a budget versus high quality window graphics. You could list a number of benefits of window graphics or ideas for window graphics. Each year, the trend articles are always really popular. So what are the trend in window graphics right now? Or if people have existing window graphics, what are ways to improve those graphics? So maybe take your one keyword and choose a couple of these approaches to tackle it. And I'm sure you've seen listicles in almost every consumer magazine that you can get at the grocery store. In a home and garden magazine, it's 10 steps to a cleaner home. Or in an automotive magazine, it's 5 things to know when shopping for used cars. So this is a really popular way to write content. And I find it's really easy because you can create bullets and kind of organize your thoughts. And however many bullets you come up with, that's the number that ends up in the headline. And it could be as little as 4 or as many as 11. It's all up to you. So hopefully you have a listicle or 2 idea written down on your paper. The next type of blog you can consider is a review or a recap blog. You want to get the full value out of the money you're spending on events. If you are sending employees, salespeople, or others to conferences to soak up some learning or to exhibit, you want to get a lot of value out of that event, just beyond what you get at the show. So for example, here, our blog was 9 themes from How Design Live to inspire creative thoughts. So we sent our creative team to How Design Live, which is a graphic design conference. It was in Chicago. And as part of the agreement, they were required to provide a recap of kind of the sessions they attended and what they took away from them. So each designer came back with, no more than 1 or 2 paragraphs about each session they attended, and we took all of those together and made one blog. And so it was pretty easy for them, and it gave a long-form content piece for our website. So then actually the How Design Live conference itself highlighted our review of their show on their homepage and in their email newsletter and social media, and it's actually a big traffic driver back to our website. We saw How Design Live as the number 3 referral source behind Google and LinkedIn. So that was really successful. If you're not going to live events, you can do this with virtual events as well. If you host a webinar, like the one I'm hosting today, I could recap this as a blog and get twice the exposure. Some people don't have 30 to 60 minutes to sit through a webinar and would rather learn by reading instead of watching. So it's good to get exposure to both those kinds of people. If there are books in your industry that are popular, you could create your own little Oprah's book club with book reviews on a certain topic. Or if your CEO I mean, some people have CEOs who even write their own book, and you can highlight that in a blog. If you're in a consumer business, maybe review products that are relevant to your audience. If you're trying to market something food related, recipe or cookware reviews could be fun for a blog. Or a travel agent could do reviews of certain destinations or hotel properties. So on your paper, write down any events you've got coming up through the end of the year, or any books you think might make a good review on your website, or any products that would tie in to your company, and write those down on your paper for blog ideas. Our next blog topic would be a frequently asked questions blog. Now, people are asking your company questions every day, but you probably don't see it. It's your sales team who are either meeting with customers in person or talking to them by the phone. People are calling into your customer service line with questions. There are inbound emails, or if you have website chat on your website, you want to ask these people, what are customers asking about or prospects asking about? So get your sales team to forward those questions to you. Sit down with your customer service team and just have a brain dump and write it up on a whiteboard. If you can get access to the email inbox or the website chat, dig through those and see if there's any common themes. Sit in on those calls or demos if a sales team will let you just listen silently. And then take all those questions and put them into categories. And once you have a category, you can create a listicle. The top 5 things you need to know about X. So we did this with one of our salespeople, and she did a frequently asked questions about direct mail lists with all the questions people had been asking her about, what kind of data can I get on a direct mail list? Whether it includes the recipient's age, gender, children in the home value, income, how long they've lived there, other data points. The good thing about frequently asked question blogs is that when people are typing these questions into Google, those same questions, your blog could come up in the results. And make a note on your paper to ask sales and customer service this, because this could help them in the long run as well. If people keep asking the same questions, they can reply plus add a link to the blog that you've put together as a resource for them. So it helps them in their daily job as well. Sometimes the easiest way to come up with a blog topic is to look at a calendar. Is your business cyclical? Are any holidays relevant to your business? Even if traditional holidays like Christmas or Easter aren't relevant, there are certain things that happen every year regardless. So the new year could be a theme of refresh or restart. Springtime, if you wanted to do a blog on cleaning or growth, both those tie into spring. Thanksgiving, things we are thankful for. Right now, I'm coming up with a blog around back to school time. So what are the things people need for back to school? On Earth Day, you can show how your company is sustainable or contributing to the environment. And then sports seasons. If your company can tie into sports, the Bucks are in the NBA Finals right now. What can you say about that? Anything? Here's an example from our blog, Winter is Coming, Warm Ways to Spread Your Brand. Since we offer promotional products, it was choosing certain products that would be great for winter giveaways, whether it's long-sleeved apparel, a cozy blanket, or a coffee mug for a warm drink. Wacky holidays could work too. If you find one that fits for your business, you could tie it to one of those random holidays. By tying your content to a season or holiday, your blog instantly becomes more relevant to what is happening now in your audience's everyday life. One note is to be careful if you're trying to appeal nationally, because winter snow things may not apply in the South, and you might want to tailor your content regionally. So on your paper, write down a couple holidays or seasons or things you think you could tie to your business, and whether it's coming up soon in the next 3 months or if it's already passed and you missed it, you can still plug it in for next year when it comes around. All right, the next blog idea is to teach someone how to. So this kind of blog, you're going to walk someone step by step how to do something complicated. So try and think of a process in your industry that is pretty complicated that you do for your customers. This is a way to show your expertise. You may think, Megan, why would I want to give all this information away for free? This is my secret sauce. This is how I get my money. But really, the people who are going to do it themselves anyway are probably not your customer. But if someone reads a blog like this and thinks, wow, this sounds like a lot of work, I think I would rather hire someone to do this, then they would be the perfect customer for you. And at the end of the blog, hopefully it says, contact us, we can do this for you. So here's an example of a blog like that. I did how to create your first omni-channel marketing campaign, which is a campaign that would combine direct mail, social, email, and Google advertising all together. Just expanding on this topic a little bit, you may remember the 4 Dummies series of books that walks you how to do something complicated, or Cliff Notes books from high school or college if you didn't want to read the entire book for literature class. People love shortcuts. And government and regulatory bodies love super long and complicated tomes of pages when they issue a new bill or a new manual. So if you can take 500 plus pages and dumb it down for a 1,000-word article of what you need to know, you can be the winner in your industry category. This is great for complicated industries like healthcare, tax laws, or insurance. It shows you really know what you're talking about, and you become a trusted expert. So the article shown here was Medicare put out this huge new regulation on joint replacement surgeries that was very complicated and full of jargon. And so wrote a short blog about how to understand how a hospital would be scored with this new regulation that people found really valuable. So make sure you have on your paper, if there is something complicated in the industry that you probably understand, but the average Joe on the street would have no idea. Let's get that information out of your brain and into your blog. Our next blog topic is versus. So are there choices in your products and services that people have to make? Can you compare and contrast those choices? In a blog, you can list the pros and cons of each and help people make more educated decisions. So here's an example from the Suttle-Straus website. Digital printing or offset printing? Which should you choose? And there's no right or wrong answer here. It depends on the size of your project and what you're trying to do. But this helps educate people on which process is right for them. So if you can help people make those decisions, an educated buyer is always better than an uneducated buyer. So can you think of 2 options in your business that people have to choose between and help them make that decision? A second alternative way to do versus is to get controversial. If there is an us versus them, there's 2 sides to every story, and you can take a stand on one side of that. David versus Goliath. Who is your Goliath? If you're an independent coffee roaster, your Goliath might be Starbucks. If your beans are sustainably sourced, hand roasted, individually packed, and never frozen, people need to know about that kind of difference between you and the big coffee. Or who is your audience's enemy? It doesn't have to be a person. It could be abstract, like a circumstance or a rule that doesn't make sense. Attorneys will use how to get the settlement you deserve, which positions the victim versus the at-fault party. So you have to do this the right way. You don't want to create negative publicity, but it can be very powerful. The example shown here, I wrote an article about the discord between orthopedic surgeons and the hospitals that they're licensed at. All right, for this next idea, leveraging pop culture, you're going to get 7 ideas. So put number 1 through 7 down on your page. And in the first number 1 spot, write down your favorite TV show to binge right now. At my house, we're watching Hell's Kitchen on Hulu with Chef Gordon Ramsay. And we're watching Loki on Disney Plus. So write those down. Number 2, write down a song from the radio that is stuck in your head. If I go back to the last article, this was published in 2015, and it's when Bad Blood by Taylor Swift was all over the radio, and you couldn't get away from hearing it. So I use that as a subject for the Versus article. Are there any front page news stories that might apply to your business? When there's a impending hurricane or one that has just passed, it can be great blog content for an insurance company about how to prepare for a hurricane or how to recover from one. If a celebrity is in their news for not paying their taxes, an attorney could use that to be like, how to ensure you don't end up in IRS jail like X celebrity. The CDC has had a little bit of fun with all the zombie movies and the Walking Dead TV shows. They put out a press release about how to prepare for a zombie apocalypse, and it got a lot of media attention. Of course, a zombie apocalypse is not real, but the same principles that apply to preparing for that also apply to any disaster. Here, the example shown on my screen was a Netflix show, The Queen's Gambit, which is all about playing chess. Thought about that and how I could tie it to marketing. So some of the same strategies you use for playing chess, you can apply strategies to your marketing plan. If you're a recruitment firm focused on hiring, maybe you could take the last movie you saw, Black Widow's in theaters right now, how to recruit a team like the Avengers, the different qualities you're looking for in team players. So there's 4 ideas for you. What's a popular book you've read that maybe you could tie to your business? Sometimes taking a children's book is easier because it's one everybody can understand. Let's take Harry Potter. How to improve our schools to be more like Hogwarts. Could that be an educational blog topic? If there's a celebrity popular among your audience, here in Wisconsin, we've got the Green Bay Packers. Maybe we could do Learn About Leadership from Aaron Rodgers, or How Not to Be a Leader from Aaron Rodgers. And you can look back to historical events. You could do mistakes made by the crew of the Titanic that you can avoid today in steering your company to success. Or, something relevant, lessons learned from the 1918 flu that can be used today. Here's an example of a blog I did, 8 marketing lessons from William Shakespeare, one of the greatest playwrights of our time. He knows how to engage an audience. How can we use some of his principles in our marketing? So on your paper, write down your book, a celebrity, and maybe a historical event. And then you can brainstorm later about how to tie that back to your business. So that was my ideas. We're approaching our 30-minute mark. If you look at your paper now, you should have at least 10 ideas you can flesh out and add to your editorial calendar. I will open it up for questions. If you have a question, you can type it into the questions box in your GoToWebinar panel on the right side of your screen. One question I already got was, will this be replayed? Yes, this session is being recorded, and you should receive a link by email to the recording and the slides tomorrow. So you'll have that for reference. If you have more questions later you don't have a chance to ask, you can email them to me. marketing@Suttle-Straus.com, and I can get back to you. Well, looks like we don't have any questions, so I'll wrap it up for today. And you guys can all watch your email tomorrow. Thanks, everyone, and have a great rest of your day, and hopefully I gave you some ideas.